Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. I am back with the latest sport mode time trial guide to help you earn 2 million credits as quick as possible. Now remember, if you do enjoy these videos, if they help you out, feel free to give myself a subscribe on the channel. We're currently pushing for 60,000 subscribers, so it would be absolutely amazing if you take a few seconds to subscribe to the channel. I'll be extremely grateful. And also give it a thumbs up, that also helps the channel out massively. And yeah, we're going to try and get you these 2 million credits as quickly as possible. Now, it's a very tricky combination, I have to say, for this week. Goodwood, a car with a lot of corners with rotation. So this car does not like that. When you're going from a left to a right-hand corner, it causes the rear to slide quite aggressively. And you're going to have to get used to that. So to enter this event, you simply click into the sport mode event at the top right-hand corner. And then you're going to be greeted with the screen for the daily races and the sport mode time trial. You're clicking on the sport mode time trial. From here, we have 3 separate time trials. I have guides for every one of them on the channel. So if you need any help on any of them, click on the channel on the 2 million credit playlist and they will be in there. Now, from here, you can see the times that you needed for gold. Now, I tried my hardest to get into the top 10, but I just could not do it. I started a little bit late and I just didn't have time to keep pushing it. I wanted to get this video out to help you out. So we're P13 in the world when I've done this. Currently, a 26.0 is needed for gold. That's probably going to go down by 3 or 4 attempts. Bear that in mind that these times are going to go faster. So you're going to need to be the fastest time when the 2 weeks is up on the time trial. That is what you're aiming for. So remember, always aim to beat the current goal time by a few attempts at least. So starting the lap, try and give yourself a good exit off the chicane. It's a tricky chicane. It's the real chicane of death, I think, that one. And now we're going to go into turn 1, which is a very, very tricky corner in this car because it likes to slide. Now, you're going to see P1 slide it through here. I'm going to use the marshal's post on the left as a reference for my braking. You can see it there. And we're going to brake just almost side by side with that. So onto the brakes, and we're going to try not to slide it too much. P1 goes for a very aggressive sliding line through here. You can see sliding the car. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it a little bit smoother, clip the apex, and then get on the throttle and just try and reduce the understeer a little bit on this exit. You might need to give it a little lift off the throttle and then back onto the throttle because you do have a tendency to run out wide on the left-hand side there, but we just about kept that in by keeping it planted. Now, this next corner is completely flat out. You do not need to lift this. Just get it up to the curb, be smooth on your inputs, and then keep the car to the left-hand side of the track. Very important to do that here. And then we're going to brake just before the marshal's post on the left there. You can see the marshal's post. We're braking just short of that. And we're going to stay in 5th gear, let it brake into this corner with trail braking, then down to 4th gear before I get to the curb. That helps rotate us into this corner, and then onto the brakes just before the left-hand board there, you can see on the right-hand side. So onto the brakes just before that. And now the car's going to want to snap the other way. So you have to be very careful with the trail braking all the way through this corner. Try and keep the car as smooth and steady as possible. Trail brake off, and then try and get on the throttle as early as you can at this point. The earlier you get on the throttle, it actually reduces the understeer because it powers through the corner. You can see we just about keep it on the track there. And now into the next braking zone. This braking zone is a very, very tricky one. I use the Ghost. So I seen when the Ghost is braking, and that's when I brake. It's a very tricky one. You kind of do it by line of sight, just making sure that you get on the brakes early, really. You can see I was a tad late on the brakes, lost the rear slightly. You've got to be very careful of the rear sliding through this corner. The smoother you can keep the car through here, the earlier you can get on the throttle, the better the exit speed. You can see how much I've lost there. I've just lost at least probably 2 tenths because I went a little bit sideways into the corner, which we're going to show you on the chase camera. You're going to see it a lot more exaggerated from that view. But yeah, you can also use for that last braking zone the Ghost. I tend to use the Ghost car where I see him braking and then I know I can get on the brakes there. For this next corner, it's another really tricky corner. You're going to actually brake just at the start of the tarmac or a little bit past the start of the tarmac on the left there. I'm going to brake there. You can see just getting onto the brakes just past the start of it. Now this corner is extremely tricky because the car wants to rotate, the weight wants to rotate from the rear, and you're going to have to try and stop it doing that. So I stay in 4th gear here, trail brake through the corner, and then we're going to go into 3rd gear a little bit later in the corner. You can see the top time is enjoying that drift. I find that I just don't really like the car when it drifts too much, so hold off with that downshift, then into 3rd, and then accelerate out of the corner and just be very cautious here. We're going to brake just before the start of the shadow. You can see the shadow line there, which I've drawn on. I braked before that. There is also a marshal's post that you can use, but I find the shadow easier. Now you want to get the right-hand tyre almost clipping the wall on the right-hand side, and then you're going to turn immediately left and try and just clip the left wall and just keep the left-hand tyre on the curb there. You can see how we both just keep the tyres just on the curb. As long as your left hand tyre is there, you'll be okay. and we go over the line for a 1 minute 24.2, which is an easy gold for me. Hopefully you lot are going to be able to get the gold again. So let's watch that lap with the kilometers an hour on and from a chase camera to give you a little bit of help from this view. So again, you're going to see how I try and avoid the car sliding as much through here. I'm trying to keep it nice and steady, stopping it from drifting too much. Might not be the quickest way, but I just find it's the safest way. This car, once it starts sliding, it's very annoying and it will lose momentum when you get on the throttle. So you have to really judge that sliding perfectly, and I'm not really the best drifter in the world on this game. So into this next corner, you're going to see we're going to go down to 4th gear, try and get a little bit of sliding going in, and then we're going to get rotation down to 4th gear, then onto the throttle as early as we can. You can see that right hand tire is just going to skim onto the grass, but not too badly. And then this corner, you're going to see how I massively lost the rear. So the rear goes sliding in, we're sliding through the corner, and that is going to lose us a little bit of momentum all the way up this hill. So you really want to reduce that sliding through that corner just to try and get as much speed all the way up this hill as possible. So yeah, pay attention to avoiding the rear snapping out. It's a very tricky car to drive, I have to be honest. I think some people are going to struggle with this car. It's not the easiest time trial we've had by any means, but I think the time achievable for the gold should be doable by a fair few. So into this final chicane, again, you can see, look how close we are to the wall on both sides, and then look at the left-hand tyre, just keeping the front left-hand tyre on the curb there. The rear left looked like it actually went over the curb. We just kept the front onto this curb and managed to get a 24.2. So yeah, if this has helped you out, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Let's see if we can push for 60k, and I'll see you for more videos and live streams in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.